Hello, Internet. This is the podcast about Gotham that you deserve, but don't want, probably.
This is Andy with the Cool Story Show, and we're here to talk about the first episode of Gotham. I'm joined by Aaron.
Heyo.
And Dave Meyer.
Hey.
And let's get right to it, shall we, gentlemen?
All right.
Yeah, let's.
So right away, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that I thought that the episode was pretty good, and it should be probably noted that I'm a huge Batman fanatic, so I was really looking forward to this, and I have as well as all the Batman graphic novels, I have the Gotham Central. I've read the Gotham Central novels as well, which is kind of what this show is based off of in a way. So
about the detectives and cops in Gotham, not centric around
rather than Bruce Wayne. I know a lot of people were giving this shit about being a show set in Gotham without Batman, but I think it was really cool. And I think for the most part, the first episode did a really good job of establishing what the show is going to be about. It did.
It kind of just barreled along. It really made Gotham look like an awesome city. It was vibrant. Mm-hmm. It strung like. It's hard. How do you create an imaginary city that's supposed to be, there's never been one set defining version of Gotham. There's always like the Narrows and there's always certain parts, but it looked great. It felt great. I thought it was Gotham.
Especially for like a TV series as well. Like it's one thing when you have a multi-million-dollar, $100 million movie budget to work with, but I think that was one of the things that impressed me. Actually, Gotham City looked good.
It actually reminded me of like the Gotham City from like the animated series. It felt alive, like.
A little bit, yeah.
It felt vibrant and like lively. It was really cool.
But at the same time, it still looked very dark, and I thought it was almost a better Gotham than what you've seen so far in the movies. Just as far as how the city presentation looked, maybe it wasn't as scummy as say with Tim Burton's Batman adaptation, and then Nolan's was a bit more cleaner per se. But I thought this one suited a real life city pretty well.
I was happy with the look of Gotham. I think that it was pretty well grounded. It was a nice mix of like you said, like the clean version of the movie, but as well like the kind of the anime or the animated kind of style where
more
there was
gothic.
Yeah, there's blimps and gargoyles and stuff. So I thought that they did a good job nailing that. Now, Dave, I saw you kind of shaking your head a little bit, and you were kind of going meh. Why don't you tell us what some of your thoughts about the first episode that you weren't so enthralled with? Because I have a few as well.
I feel like it's gonna take a bit to hit its stride. I kind of felt that they jammed too many villain cameos down your throat.
Yeah, there was a ton.
There was a
of
ton
villain cameos.
I think that's going to be an overall criticism of this first episode, is that they kind of wanted to get everybody in at least once for a little bit.
So there was the villains. I kind of felt that the dynamic between Harvey and Jim Gordon didn't work a little bit, but that could also pick up as the series develops and more works. But
what weren't you feeling about that?
Just their chemistry. Like
as between actors or
maybe
between characters?
Between characters right now.
Okay.
And also, it seems like Jim Gordon's very edgy. Like he almost needs to lose that a bit and become more. I don't know. Maybe more the Jim Gordon we know and love, or maybe that'll develop.
Jim Gordon was kind of edgy though. If you read like year one, he wasn't necessarily put together. He was a little bit on edge. One
thing that I appreciated about this as well was that we've seen countless variations of Gotham City and the Batman mythos. So I'm glad that they didn't give us the exact same stuff over and over and over again. Actually, you notice that Renee Montoya and Chris Allen were in that, and in the comics, they're Jim Gordon's
crimes detectives.
Yeah, they're his subordinates really, and so it was nice to kind of see everyone kind of aged out at the same level, so that you can get that better dynamic, I think, going forward. So that was one of the things that I thought was cool. But I agree, way too many villains. And,
there was 5 in total almost.
I'm gonna go out here and say I thought Catwoman was super lame.
I don't know why she was even there, really. Just other than to say oh look, there's a little Selena Kyle jumping around the city.
Yeah, she was terrible.
Yeah, and.
I didn't like that she was so much older than Bruce either, because that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, because
I was just going to say that they have a love dynamic obviously later in the comics as Batman and Catwoman, but she's 16, 17?
I don't know, and I just thought she looked stupid too. No offense to the actress who plays her, but fuck.
Yeah, I mean, her opening scene was kind of cool, but other than that, it was why was she in this episode? What purpose did she have besides witnessing the murder? So maybe that's another story arc that'll play out, but. Why don't we talk about characters that worked or villains that were really awesome? Fish Maroney killed it.
Jada Pinkett Smith
just killed it.
Yeah.
See, I thought she was a little over the top at times. I think it's a really good character, and I'm excited to see where they go with her. And I think it has a lot of good potential, and I think that she'll probably ease into it the more that she plays it. But she was a bit like playing a magical villain.
Who
right?
I liked was Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah.
He was creepy, weird. You could tell right away. You're like, that's.
Do you know why I
That's
liked
the
him
Penguin.
off the bat? Bow tie.
Yeah, he was a creepy motherfucker. Like,
Robin Lord Taylor played him. Never been in anything else, I don't think, of any note, but did a good job, I think.
yeah,
Really cool.
he was just he struck a very awesome balance between being creepy but being sympathetic too. Like,
He's kind of pathetic almost, but he's
Yeah.
vicious and
it was almost cute watching him beat the shit out of that guy with the baseball bat.
he
Like,
was so happy.
And then at the end scene where he cuts that guy's throat and steals a sandwich, like I'm like, this is the rise of the penguin.
That's pretty vicious.
okay, I'm gonna talk about a villain I thought was pretty cool, and that is Carmine Falcone. It was a different take on him, and I think it's cool that they added in history with him and Gordon.
Yeah.
Obviously, we just got a very small teaser of that, but I think it was cool of him to not be like a straight out like I'm all about money and villain, and he did have some interesting motivations
How
for
he was thinking about the city, but from like a
from like a twisted point of view. Yeah,
that was
but
interesting.
what he said made sense about how they needed someone to blame for the Wayne murders, right?
Yeah, I liked it. We also had Edward Nygma, really small cameo by him. He was there
Yeah.
for 2 seconds.
His was the best cameo I liked. That and what I would say is probably going to be the Joker,
Who do you think
Who?
that's going to be the guy who shot them?
the stand-up comedian in the club.
No,
Really?
I'm
I don't think
know.
so.
I don't know
I'm
about that.
going out on a limb here. I'm going to say that's going to be the Joker.
I don't think so. So who do you guys think shot them? Some hitman? Do you think we're gonna know him later? Because they made a big deal of showing you his eyes.
Yeah. I think that's going to be like the main story thread that we're going to be talking about throughout
Yeah.
the season. Is they're going to keep touching upon like who shot the Waynes and why, and almost as a villain here, guys. Like Harvey Bullock, he was my favorite character the whole episode.
He was good.
He was a good, really bad guy. He was more of a bad guy almost than a good guy.
He's definitely jaded by the system, like a traditional Gotham cop. Like
He's awesome though.
I
Donald
didn't.
Logue played him, and he fucking
Yeah.
did a great job. He's just a degenerate, and he's not really nice, but you kind of like him. But
What did you guys think when I first read the synopsis of what his character was? It's like, yeah, he kind of skirts the line of a hero. I had a really hard time going with that because, of course, I'm thinking of the Harvey Bullock from the animated series. But I thought it was a different take, but a really good take. And I did like the relationship between him and Gordon. I thought it was pretty good. I'd like to see it built upon, of course, but
I think he was the strongest. I think that was the strongest acting of the show was Harvey Bullock for me. He did the best job portraying an interesting character. Ben McKenzie as Jim Gordon, he was good, but the first half of the show he was a little flat for me, like a little boring, a little one note. But I mean,
Can I just say Barbara Gordon?
Dees.
Like,
No, she's not Barbara Gordon yet,
or
Yeah.
Barbara,
which is cool. They're not married yet.
yeah, they're not married yet,
Yeah.
which is cool. But
And she looks like she's a lesbian with a hot
yeah,
Renee
let's go
Montoya.
with that. Maybe we'll get some flashbacks.
I'd like to see that in Gotham.
if you know what I mean.
You know what? I thought Ben McKenzie brought it. Actually, I had read online that his performance, like you said, was a little bit subdued. But I just went in with lower expectations. But I thought he owned it. Actually, like between his fight scenes, he looked great being physical, and then. I never thought that he was out of his depth with all the other actors and anything like that. I was really impressed with Ben McKenzie.
Okay, what about other good guy characters that worked, like Alfred?
He was okay.
Kind of a different take on Alfred than you've seen him. Usually he's the quiet, more sophisticated butler. Mm-hmm. This one's more brash, and like when he was yelling at Bruce to get off the...
That was funny.
That was pretty funny.
That was good.
He was alright.
He was okay. I liked young Bruce Wayne. He did a good job.
Do you know what I loved about Bruce is if you get up like a close-up of his face when they're by the fire, it literally looks like you could take the cowl and drop it over his head, and he looks like that would be the face of Batman.
Yeah, the kid was good.
Yeah, I liked young Bruce. He was good.
And that being said, I hope we don't see them again for a long time in Gotham.
I'm hoping Bruce isn't a main character. I hope it sticks with the police and
Yeah,
the stuff
exactly.
they have to deal with on a daily basis.
I wouldn't mind seeing them, like if the story arc of the first season is going to be going after the Wayne's true killer, then I wouldn't mind checking up on them every once in a while. But I just think for this show, like you don't need Bruce there. The characters by themselves are strong enough. You don't need to remind everyone that like this is Batman. He's going to be Batman. If anything, it would make sense for Bruce to go away and almost, I guess, start his training.
Yeah, if he wasn't a main character that's going to be in every episode.
Well, he's still a boy though. What is he, 9?
Yeah,
10?
I mean, yeah, you're right, but then he should be in school, right? Like, I don't want to see him every episode. Is my point.
I'd rather see Harvey Bullock and James Gordon.
Yeah,
be the
I'd
two
rather
main
see
characters.
that.
Yeah, would be much better.
Or even that the upcoming Mafia War. I mean, that sounds really promising too. It sounds pretty cool.
And then we've got like the loose cannon of Cobblepot now.
Yeah.
That I guess everybody except Jim thinks is dead.
Yeah.
I guess.
You know what? And I thought actually Jim would make a bigger display of saying that, like, no, I will not kill him. I was fully expecting him to kick him into the reservoir, but I wasn't expecting him to kind of
Actually, I gotta say
him.
that whole little end on the dock, that was probably my favorite scene of the show. It was like fucking super intense. I really liked it.
Again, Ben McKenzie brought it. Like,
That's what I mean though. Like
Yeah.
the first half of the episode, it was meh, and then he like picked it up, and then like in that scene, I was like, wow, like fuck, really.
I can see where people are coming from when they say that. But again, like, this is just the first episode, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
I guess we'll get a better idea for everyone once they get into the groove, I guess.
Okay, so now that we've talked about that, what about plot details that you wish would come for further episodes? Like, do you want to see certain villains go away and more come about, or?
I'm not terribly interested in seeing more of the Riddler, to be honest. I'm interested in seeing more of Cobblepot. I thought that he was really good. But I actually, and I don't want to see the Joker.
No, I don't want to see the Joker either.
They have said that the Joker is going to be in this television series.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that the Joker is such a part of Batman. Like, I don't mind having a show about Gotham without Batman, but I do mind having a show with the Joker without Batman, because that to me is like what the Joker's reason for existing is, to be like the yin to Batman's
It's the
yang.
opposite of Batman. Without Batman, I don't know why there'd be a Joker in the show.
But we've also never had Joker origins.
I don't want Joker
I don't
origins.
want a Joker origin. He'll be better. I never want to know what the Joker.
There's a reason they skipped his origin in The Dark Knight, right? It's irrelevant to.
I'm still going to call it and say it's that comedian on the stage.
We'll see about that, I guess.
Dave Meyer prediction right now.
Right now, you heard it first on Let's Talk Gotham. What else did you think?
One thing, I definitely want to see less villains crammed in every episode. Maybe if they could pick one or two. Obviously, Cobblepot we all liked, and he seems like a more easier to relate to, because in essence he just becomes a mob boss. It really is all the Penguin becomes. And maybe if we could see, like, I don't know, Zaz would be kind of a cool person to see. We've got Carmine Falcone, that's cool. Fish is probably going to be Fish Muldoon is going to probably be stay main character, but they're all like real world kind of characters that are a lot easier to relate to than like Mr. Freeze showing up, or like a teenage Catwoman jumping around the city.
What about villains?
Catwoman is fucking ridiculous.
Villains you would like to see that you haven't seen?
You know what? I don't want to see any other Batman villains, to be honest. I want to see original villains created for this series. If the series is going to be about the Gotham City Police Department, I want them to be facing
Practical villains?
Practical villains, because a big part of Batman is, like, people accuse him of bringing all these crazy people to Gotham. So if all these villains are running amok already before Batman gets there, I think that loses a little bit of the
right, because the whole point was
psychosis
that
of Batman.
that Batman upped the ante, and he brought out all these villains that then upped the ante even more too. So without Batman,
So I want to see new, interesting villains, but I don't necessarily want to see a ton of villains from the Batman Rogue Gallery. I want to see the villains that were rooted in like the mob, kind of like the Penguin was, kind of like Carmine Falcone, maybe even Alberto Falcone. They could do the Holiday arc, which was really cool.
That would be neat.
One thing I would like to see is Harvey Dent.
Yes.
Definitely would love to see Harvey Dent. Maybe not this season when they're still establishing things, but I think he'd be a really cool addition, especially build up the relationship between him and Gordon. I don't know that you ever see him become Two-Face, but the fact that everyone knows that eventually he will make it that much
Two-Face.
more heartbreaking. So
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if Harvey Dent came in the show.
yeah. Any final thoughts, guys?
Well, like I said, I thought it was a good episode. I guess we'll have to see what happens with the next episode. But I'm really curious to see where they go or where they take this series.
That's just part of the fun. We'll be back here every week talking about the latest happenings in Gotham City. So on that note, you can find me on the Twitter machine at Spiteri316.
You can find me at a Corbett48.
Fighting Crime at Dave Meyer 7.
Until next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening, everyone.